This week's Youth Worker Training is sponsored by Disciple Project Ministries and the new series, Gideon, From Weak to Warrior. 5-week series complete with messages, slides, and more. If you want to take your kids from weak to warrior, then check out the link in the description below. Hey everybody, Paul Turner here from thediscipleproject.net and paulturnerspeaks.com. Glad to be with you today. Thank you for joining me. If you're brand spanking new to the channel, welcome. If you're a regular, as always, thanks for being here. Today, I want to talk to you about the 3 big promises you need to make to your youth ministry. But before we get into that, I made a promise last week that if you commented on that video, I was going to put your name in a hat, and then we were going to spin the wheel of winning, and let's see what you have won. But I don't have to put a bunch of names in the hat because, Pastor Matt, you are the only one that commented on the video. That means whatever I spin and whatever comes up on the wheel, you are going to win it. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel first, and let's see what Pastor Matt has won. Feel free to cheer along in your own home as the wheel is spinning, pretending you're on The Price is Right. Go ahead. Let us see what Pastor Matt has won. Ooh, something custom. All right, well, Pastor Matt, you have won something custom from me. So you say, look, Paul, I'm working on a lesson. I need a graphic. I need, custom announcements. Would you make my announcements for me? I don't know, something custom. So, Pastor Matt, whatever you're thinking about, say, look, I would like a custom lesson, a custom thing for my staff. Well, maybe like a little staff lesson for your leaders. You let me know what you need in the world of custom, and we will work together, and I will provide it for you. So let's go ahead and jump into the 3 big promises that you need to make to your youth ministry. Number 1, you need to go ahead and make promises to those you invite. That's right, big promises. A lot of youth ministries don't make any promises at all. They say, well, if you come, you get what you get. But I'm saying, look, make a big promise, because then the youth pastor, have to work a little bit to ensure that that promise is good. So many kids go to youth group or go to church, and it's just filled with broken promises. They were told that it was going to be this, and it wasn't anything like that. And so they get that promise, and it's broken, and then it's hard to get people to come back because now they can't trust the promise. So what kind of promises are you making to those new kids who are showing up? You say, would you come and say, look, you'll have fun. You'll make new friends. You'll encounter the Lord. Whatever that big promise is, listen, as a youth pastor, you need to go ahead and work that out to make sure, say, look, I invited that kid, or I asked somebody to invite that kid, and say, look, that's the promise I'm making, and I'm going to do everything within my power. If you said, come and you'll make new friends, man, you got to work hard to say, look, I'm going to introduce that kid to every kid in the youth group, and let's see who they connect with, okay? That's the big promise. How are you? Whatever. It could be. Look, this is going to be so much fun. Well, is it? Are you doing everything in your power to make that event fun? If you say, look, it's going to be a great opportunity for your friends to know Christ, do you give the altar call then and say, look, I'm going to give you an opportunity to lead your friend to Christ? Or is it all just games and you run out of time, and so you don't give an altar call and you just do a closing prayer? Those are just some of the things to think through and say, what kind of promises am I making to the kids that are already in my youth group, or to kids I invite? What kind of promise am I keeping those promises to them, that I am doing the very best I can to fulfill those promises? Number 2, making a big promise to those who stay, right? What if they stay with your youth group, right? What if they stay? What are they going to not just learn, but what are they going to grow in? What are they going to experience? What kind of leadership development are they going to go through? What's the big promise if you stay? If you're going to make a big promise that you say you're going to come, and there's a big promise for that, and you fulfill it, you say, well, stay with us. Stay with us. Why would a kid want to come to your youth group versus somebody else's? Why would a kid want to stay in your youth group before anybody else's? And I think that's based on making a big promise and fulfilling and even overcommitting in that promise and saying, I'm going to deliver even bigger. I'll make a big promise, and then I'm going to deliver bigger on that promise. And if you look at people and say, young man or young lady, come to this youth meeting. If you'll stay with us for X amount of time, or if you say, stay with us, be a part of us, what are you going to experience? Are you going to say, listen, you'll experience life-giving community? Well, that depends. Are you doing everything in your power to make sure that your adult leaders understand that, your students understand that? It's one thing if you make a promise, but your team has to make a promise to say, look, I'm promising you life-giving community, but if there's backbiting, if there is chaos, if there's whatever's going on, the question is, can you fulfill the promise that you're giving them? It's not going to happen by accident. It's going to happen because it's intentional. And the third promise I suggest that you make to your youth ministry is this: what if you become a leader? Now, leadership, servanthood are all part of the bigger package of discipleship. But that was my end game, that if I get a kid to serve, and I get a kid to lead and own their faith and step up with it, that I knew that they were making progress. And so I made big promises. I say, look, if you hang with me for at least 3 months and get involved, you'll be serving. I'm going to find out what you're good at, and I'm going to find a way for you to be able to do that, right? I told a kid, I say, you hang with us, and you could be leading a small group. Because I think you have skills and abilities. I didn't just promise that to anybody. I did promise that to kids that I thought had the skills and the abilities and the talent to do so. And I made promises accordingly. I didn't make promises randomly. I made them because I knew that if they stuck with it, we could facilitate that as a youth ministry. You don't have to promise them that they're going to be the worship leader. You don't have to promise them that they're going to preach. All you're saying is, look, I promise that, look, if you hang with us, I'm going to do my very best to make sure that you find your sweet spot so you can help find and know your purpose. That's a promise you can keep, because you're going to help them find it, at least within the context of your ministry. What purpose can they serve to be able to give into the youth ministry, and what can the youth ministry give back to them? What do you give them? Do you give them time? Do you give them your phone number? Do you give them your effort, all that you are, in the sense of saying, look, I'll give you every tool, every resource you need to become the leader that I'm asking you to become. And if you'll do that, guess what? You're making a big promise to them, and they will step up into that area. And then you as a youth worker have to fulfill that promise and find that arena for them to be able to serve in. I did that with a young lady several years ago, and she came, and I said, look, if you just hang with me for a while, I'm telling you, you're going to become a leader in this youth ministry. Well, the year before I left, full-time youth pastor at the last church I was at, that young lady became my intern, and she is still there today serving and loving the Lord and leading kids. Let me know what resonates with you. I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. All right, guys, that's it for today. Appreciate you guys hanging out, being a part. If you're brand spanking new to the channel, have not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Be a part of the community here. And if you're a regular, as always, thank you for being a part. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Let us know you like the video and you want more of them. And until next time, guys, have a great week. Talk to you later.